Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at a very impressive mod. Now this mod is called Dangerous Decompression, which well makes a lot of sense considering the game we're playing. So in short, what it does is, when you have a pressurized interior and say you have a hole in your ship, or you suddenly open a door, anything that's not nailed down is going to get sucked out that hole and could potentially damage the area around it and make it a lot bigger, and well make a big hole in your ship. So for a quick demonstration so you can see what's going on with this, I have my lovely character sitting in this lovely sealed room. We've got a bunch of floating steel blocks, and well now I'm going to remove the block behind him, and we're going to say goodbye to this engineer and all that he stands for. And away he goes. So everything just gets sucked out into space, and they're now gone for good into the distance. We can see a few shiny blocks in the distance reflecting some of the sunlight. Looks very nice, like a bunch of satellites in the sky. But that is what this mod does. Now this mod is also fully compatible with the water mod, and it works in the opposite way, where if you have a pressurized interior underwater, then suddenly open the door to the water is going to rush in, and once again, anything that's not nailed down, like the engineer or any kind of floating resources, is going to get pulled into the building, into the ship, and damage anything around it, depending on the force you set. And with that said, there are a bunch of customizable options with this mod, but I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will play with some of the more dangerous and destructive ones a bit later. Now what I'm going to do is just switch over to another character. There he is, just flying away into the distance. We're now going to come over not to this one, we're going to go to the one sitting on the Albatross. Now in the Albatross we've got a bunch of flying stuff around here, which looks like it has been cleaned up by the automatic trash removal. Yes, this is another fantastic example of what could go wrong on your ship with this mod installed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a bunch of blocks around here. I'm going to place a bunch of large blocks as well. There we go, we have all different shapes and sizes. And we'll put some more around here. Perhaps we'll put a battery floating around as well. There we go. And now I'm going to remove this block on the sides and activate my jetpack and move away. And then suddenly, I get ejected out the side and all the blocks come with me. And if I was to say repeat that once again, but with the free camera, I can now remove that block. Now as you can see, everything is getting sucked out. That large battery exploded on its way out and made a massive hole on the side of this hangar bay. Now all the other floating blocks are escaping out the ship. But yes, this mod won't really have too much of an impact on your day-to-day gameplay, because it has to be stuff that isn't nailed down. So you do have to be careful about the odd tool you drop, the odd bit of resources, so it could make a nasty hole in your ship. Yes, one more thing to check out before we go and play around the settings, because it is very self-explanatory, and I think this is a good enough representation of what it does, is we need to go underwater. So here we are underwater on the Earth-like planet. We're about 400 meters from the surface in the Helios research station that did a showcase on not too long ago. Now on the inside, I've got a poor little chap who's got a bunch of loose batteries just sitting in one little room. So what I'm going to do is now bring the free camera in so we can actually get a better view of what's going on. I think I'll use the free camera to actually remove all the blocks, so my engineer can now just move backwards a little bit. So out he comes through this section. Here comes the free camera. Free camera's now going to go over to this section, and he's going to start to remove the blocks at the back there. And there we go. We can see the force has gone forwards, my engineer got moved back, everything has been pushed towards the end room there. That's going to last for 10 seconds before it recovers, and then goes back to normal. And that's what happens when you're underwater. So stuff gets sucked further into the ship, depending on your force multiplier, depending on the time you have set in the settings, unlike space where stuff will get sucked out. Now just grabbing a hold of my character once again, can I fiddle around with some more of these settings? Just going to move it a bit closer and find out where that was and seal it up once again. There we go, now seal that. That's all good. Now come back into here, we can set the force multiplier up a bit more. I want to have even more force, I want to have all the force. There we go, a nice sort of force. Now I'm going to do it one more time with the engineer, and there we go. Wow, okay, something as bad has happened there. And I'm going to find the free camera. What is going on? The engineer is going between time and space. And it looks like we did do a bit of damage. Where have all the batteries gone? It looks like the batteries have completely torn off part of the room there. And that is one hell of a lot of force that just got applied there. I don't know what's happening with this guy. He can just sit there and be transparent and slowly raise up to the surface. The batteries are completely gone. Oh my god, he's moving slowly this way. He's become very spooky. In fact, that's a turtle. What's the turtle doing down here? And yes, that is what happens when you play around with the force multipliers. What I can do, in fact, there's two of them. Why are there two of them now? Yes, what I can do is come back into space. We're going to come over and switch between this one We're going to do the same once again. I am going to make a bunch of loose blocks. Here we go, a bunch of loose steel blocks. And to finish off this video, I'm going to simply bring the free camera back up, go away from the interdimensional engineer up the top there, find the albatross, there we go, go a bit closer, and now we're going to watch the destruction from the outside. So here we go, we're going to open that up. 3, 2, 1, and out comes everything in an instant with so much force that I'm probably never going to be able to catch up to the engineer or any of the blocks that went flying out. We did completely empty this area, and yes, it's all settled down now. So we'll do it one more time. We're now going to do this. There we go, make it nice and sealed. In fact, we won't use steel blocks to finish off this mod, finish off this video. What I'm going to use is a bunch of warheads. So here we go for the grand finale. What I'm going to do instead of opening up the hangar bay doors is make everything come through to the front of the ship. So now what I'm going to do is remove this front panel. There we go, that's everything sucking out from the front there. Now going to continue to suck stuff out. There we go. Going to come through this section. We're going to come to the double door to the hangar. And in 3, 2, 1, we now open that up. And everything is just shot all the way through. We can see some damage right there between the atmospheric thruster. I don't think anything came out the front. I think all the blocks got destroyed on their way out. But we can see a big bit of damage right here. A bunch of the large warheads must have come flying through this section. Got a hole in the bottom. You see a little gap along the front there, which I think was part of the walkway. Along the hangar bay, any kind of damage? Yes, there is along the top there. So we've got some stuff coming out the top. And that is pretty much it for this mod and what it does. So yes, it's a very self-explanatory mod with what it does. Here is the poor little engineer over there. Can I actually save this guy? I don't think I can. Look at the speed he is traveling. He's going at 1,200. He's flicking between time and space. Can I actually try and save him? Yes, I can. So there we go. Just going to start to slow down like this. Just as I was saying, it's a fantastic mod. If you want a bit more realism in your world, you don't have to use the water mod if you don't want to. It is perfect for using ships and decompression. It does add that little bit of an edge to fight, so if you have anything loose on your ship, like say you have a bit of scrap inside the ship that you didn't really notice, it got stuck in a corner, say behind a cryopod after your last encounter with a drone, and you thought nothing of it, until another drone came along and blew a hole in your ship, and now that piece of scrap has just gone along throughout your ship and damaged a bunch more blocks you gotta go around and repair. It also has a little edge to an engineer or any kind of passengers on your ship, so if there was a random explosion, was a random rocket hit on the side, you could get sucked out and have to go rescue them. So there'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download and play around with it yourself. Highly recommend you do. And I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.